Hi, so one time Vinny slit my neck when I was 6 years old, and first met House when I was 6. And so I had to get rushed to the hospital to get my neck stitched. I usually called the EMT, and helped me. And I was living downstairs, and he helped me, brought me downstairs while I was leaning on him to the EMT and got rushed to the hospital. Then the same thing happened again with Paul. In the first Medford house, he slit my neck. Then I had to call the EMT, and then I had to get rushed to the hospital. They brought me downstairs, just like before. I'm sorry for not giving you. I know it's not giving you good enough detail, but this is just exhausting. So I walked downstairs to AJ and instead of waiting for the EMT to come up both times. And on my 7th birthday, Paul whacked me in the head with a crowbar and it went into my skull, and then I passed out for a minute or two. And he ran away. You see, I went downstairs with Paul because he said he had a birthday present for me. And his birthday present was basically just to torture me, I guess. Anyway, so he whacked me in the skull, and the crowbar went into my skull, went into my brain, because it went through the skull. So anyway, I got up after Paul ran away, ran off the porch, back porch. I meet him in the back porch, and he ran away from me after, I guess he assumed I was dead from that. Then I went upstairs, tried to get the crowbar out in the bathroom. Then I called AJ to help me. He helped me get the crowbar out of my skull, and then put a band-aid on my head and wrapped my head around with a bunch of stretchy, some sort of stretchy elastic band-aid thing. I don't know what it's called. It's, brown stretchy stuff that you wrap around people's heads and neck. It's that stuff. And the band-aid was really big, yeah. This happened all on my 7th birthday, and AJ kept me company. And we watched Bad Boys 1 and 2. And more movies. Besides that day in my room. And also, me and AJ weren't allowed to go to Chuck E. Cheese or Good Times because it's too expensive for Vinny's, which was a lie. Nothing was too expensive for Vinny. He was just cheap. And Vinny would throw us down the stairs every time we went to those places with Dad: Chuck E. Cheese, Good Times, or Big Dog. And when we did went to Chuck E. Cheese was very early, was when we were living with Mom. And Vinny didn't want to spend any money on pizza because he's too cheap. Or any money on prizes because he's too cheap. Or sweets at Chuck E. Cheese because he was too cheap. So he ended up just throwing the tickets away. I remember, he threw the tickets away. No, he didn't throw the tickets, he ended up putting them in his glove compartment. And stuff, and stuff in his glove compartment, along with his tickets. Shut up, please. And I remember when I said Paul took a power screw and drilled it in my head. That wasn't a power screw. It was. Remember I said Paul pranked me with a power screwdriver. It was actually a power screw. I mean a power drill. Anyway, he drove a power drill in my skull. On my ninth birthday, he stuck it all the way in there and then took it all the way out. And I was on the floor, passed out for I don't know how long. They just checked to see. I could tell you, I could hear AJ. He checked if I had a pulse. Then he asked me to get up, and he helped me. And then I got up by myself because I didn't want him to help me. Because if I refused to have help from him to get up because I got it, I was exhausted. So I went to AJ. So I remember AJ helped me to the kitchen table because I got this happened in the kitchen. All of this happened in the kitchen that day. So he called the EMT and he helped me. I was leaning on him and he helped me while I was limping and almost was ready to collapse. And I was trying my best not to die because I felt like I was going to die. And I remember the time he helped me. The other two times remember the times that Vinny and Paul slit my neck and AJ helped me to the EMT. Those times AJ ran in the back of the EMT. Mom left us home alone with Paul and Vinny. Those times, the times they heard me, the times I told you about, and including including the power drill memory. She left me home alone with me and AJ home alone with Paul, which was her brother, and so. Anyway, I'm feeling a lot less anxiety now after talking about this. So, AJ rode him back in the EMT with me that day after calling the EMT after Paul drilled a hole in my forehead with a power drill. It was very painful. I was 9 years old. It was my 9th birthday. That was his birthday present to me. And then then Paul, no, I skipped too far in the head of the story. Then AJ rode back to EMT after calling the EMT. He only downstairs to the EMT. I was limping downstairs to the EMT and I was holding on to AJ. And the hospital put a Band-Aid on my forehead and wrap a bunch of stuff around my head and disinfected the wound with water. And AJ's in the room with me, and then Mom comes in the room. That's when things suck. Because then she called Turns out she called Paul and told him that I was in the hospital. And so what she do, she invites Paul to the hospital. And she lets Paul in the room. He's with flowers, and he just unwraps the whole thing and takes the band off and put in and wets his finger with saliva and puts his finger all the way in the hole in my skull that he caused and takes it all the way out and does it again several times, and he calls it a wet willy and laughs. So I broke his finger in his hand on purpose, and of course I'm the one that gets in trouble, not him. Me and AJ told the hospital the truth. Mom and Paul back up Paul's story of a lie, saying I just broke his finger in his hand for no reason. And he's this helpless victim. And Mom put the Band-Aid and the wrapping stuff back on my head before the hospital could see that Paul took it off. Oh, but I got a birthday present that day. I got a birthday present from Mom and AJ. It was new PJs that were blue PJs with smiley faces on them. And some cake I got to have. Anyway, I had to get escorted to the psychiatric ward against my will. And I swear vengeance upon Paul, yelling at him and saying I'll get him for this. And Vinny was also for 7 years. Whenever me and AG wanted, we wanted pizza often, from Pizza Hut. So Vinny was too cheap to get pizza from Pizza Hut because he said the scenes cost like 30. Pizza Hut cost like $30, which was a lie, a fucking lie. Oh, and Paul and Vinny would babysit us the 3 years before the divorce, before Dad got kicked out from age 0 to 3 years old, and they stopped seeing us when after I turned 4. Sometimes it would be Paul babysitting us, sometimes it would be Paul and Vinny babysitting us, sometimes it would be just Vinny babysitting us. Anyway, this just caused me more depression. And one time when he was babysitting us, Vinny, before Dad got kicked out when I was 0 and AJ was 1, he hit us in the head with a blender. And I remember, I think he hit us in the head with a blender. Yeah. Once he first downstairs, but that was a different memory. He hit us in the head with a glass blender, and it was very painful. We weren't conscious for a while, I don't know how, and we woke up and we were scared of him, and our face said that we just had a bad dream, and that's when me and she suspected that he was a bit of an asshole. This happened on the first week after my birth, when I was only 1 week old. Oh, remember when I was 3? Vinny blended my Biden dinosaur doll as in 3 years old. He also blended my Pennywise costume that I got from Alyssa when I was 0. The age before I turned 1. It was the first costume she ever got from me. The first gift I ever got from her, also. And, he just blended both of them at the same time while Paul was holding my head and, making me watch and holding my arms back so I wouldn't, try to stop, Vinny from blending them. Pennywise costume and the Barney doll at the same time she blended. And I was crying and crying. And then Paul just pushed me down the stairs, and then I was locked in the. And I remember it was Paul that pushed me down the stairs, and I locked in. And I was descended, and I locked the door. I think it was Paul because Paul locked the door after slamming it. And anyway, I was in the basement for a whole weekend. Starting at Friday, and I didn't got out till Monday. So yeah, the whole weekend. Oh, from age 0 to 3, whenever Vinny and Paul would babysit us, me and AJ, we watch a movie with them. One time we watched a movie with them when I was, I believe, 3, and it was Independence Day, and also Rainbow First Blood. And every time we watch a movie with them, for those 3 years straight, they would interrupt the movie and explain the whole plot, what's going on, to each other and to us, and make fun of how dated the effects are, and not even shut up and enjoy the fucking film, and this made me more depressed. And this was when I was having stale popcorn that Paul heated up, and it was not salty and buttery, and it tastes like it was made with not love, of course. I was used to not getting love, so the fact that it was tasted like it was made without love, the popcorn is kind of fitting in a way, you know? And for 3 years straight, that would happen from the age 0 to 3 years old, and that didn't happen at all. That stopped happening once I turned 4 years old. That's when they stopped babysitting us, Paul and Vinny. And from when Paul and Vinny was babysitting us from the age 0 to 3 years old, and me and AJ would play hide and seek for our lives from them, and 90 and Great Fees for every year. Every year, AJ would have to give me a refresher course. And we were high in the shack with Screepy. Sometimes we were high in the closet. And sometimes it was just me that was hiding in the shack and in the closet, and all the other hiding places we hid. No, I'll tell you what the hiding place we hid was in the shack with Screepy, and or in the closet on the first floor, or downstairs underneath the chair that was nailed to the floor downstairs, or in the closet upstairs, where piled underneath all of the comforters and bed sheets, buried underneath all that we were. Or sometimes it would be underneath the stools in the first floor. We went all see where we hide. Me and AJ, and it was when I was 0 and AJ was 1. It was the first time I played hide and seek from Paul and Vinny, and also the first time I played hide and seek. Period. Me and AJ together. Oh, and also another. This happened was for 3 years, from the age 0 to 3 years old, and not and 4 years old when we stopped. 4 years old, it was when we stopped doing it. When I was 4 years old, and lowers, and remember from the age 5 till 9, they threw me down the 15 feet of stairs. Well, he threw me down the 15 feet of stairs for liking the Patrick Swayze movie Ghost, and Gone with the Wind, and Gumby Show, and the Gumby movie, and Teletubbies. He did the same thing to AJ because he liked those things also, and watched those things with me until I turned 6, sometime after turning 6. So then it was just me that got thrown down the stairs after that. Oh, and the same goes for Thomas the Tank Engine movie and show. Oh, and it also made me depressed that. What also makes me depressed that my depression makes me depressed. And another thing that makes me depressed that Biden the Dinosaur never made a movie trilogy. And also another thing that made me depressed was that Alex never watched Who from Tony's Family. Alex, who from Tony's Family, never watched Man of Steel or the Dark Knight movie with me. Instead, she watched Hanging Out with Her Girlfriends. And even after she said she was going to watch those movies with me. And another thing that makes me depressed is, well, Vinny, for 7 years I was living with him, would go on and on of how I would be lost without him, and that I need him more than he needs me, and how he takes, going on and brag on for 7 years, how he takes care of me. Well, he takes care of me for 7 years. He would brag on about it all the time. And he would brag on all the time for 7 years that he pays for all my Christmas gifts and birthday shit and Easter shit and all of my movies, which was something that I really got because all those things I really ever got because Vinny was, I guess, too cheap and lazy to help with Easter and any holidays. And one of the reasons why I got thrown down the 15 feet of stairs for 6, 7, and 8, 9 for 5 years is because, well, I asked for more movies and Vinny threw me down the stairs for asking for more movies. Because he's too fucking cheap. And Mom never stuck up for him. In fact, she was okay with me getting thrown down the stairs with me and AJ. Me and AJ, she was okay with like getting me and AJ getting thrown down the stairs. I remember now. How I know this because one time when in the Dover house, the second Dover house, the first night we got thrown down the stairs twice. Me and AJ, the basement stairs. One for eating fruits and vegetables because Vinny never clean his doesn't never clean his hands. Well, we didn't clean his hands because he believes cleaning your hands before you serve food is a mess, and cleaning vegetables or fruit is a mess. What a fucking retard. And so we first went out hungry, and and so he threw us down the stairs. Also threw us down the stairs because we expressed our feelings that we didn't like that she kicked Dad out that night, and very found very found disrespectful, being disrespectful to a mother because we were expressing how we felt. So we got thrown downstairs for that, too, at the same time. And then we, kept on getting thrown downstairs, and locked in the basement several times every night until we think about what we did, and then one night, this was overnight, we forgot what he said because we weren't sure if he was serious or he was just drunk. He was both serious and drunk. And so was Mom because she drank it heavier than he did back then. For almost 7 years, she drank heavier than Vic did. I remember now that. And up until this was before she was diagnosed with ALS, and when I was 9 years old, she drank heavier than he did. Anyway, one night after New Year's, the New Year's comes. I can't remember what was the second reason why we got. Oh yeah, no, we got thrown down the stairs. Also, I don't know why I got thrown down. The reason why I got thrown down the stairs the first night for Vinny threw us down the basement of many nights to come, which was the first night that got kicked out. And Vinny started living with us. It was because we got thrown down the stairs for watching Bad Boys 2 and sneaking into the theaters. Not because we saw Bad Boys 2, but because we snuck into the theaters. So he threw us downstairs for that, and also threw us down the stairs because Angelina Jolie's a slut from the Tomb Raider 2 movie. Because which I didn't get. I see what she's saying because he's jealous he's not that pretty like Angelina Jolie, I guess. I think he's just jealous. Oh, he also threw us down the stairs for another reason, because that Tomb Raider movie's PG-13. This happened the same night. Then New Year's comes, and by then we were basically living in the basement, well, because we were locked in the basement every night. Almost every night, and we alternate living in our rooms and living in the basement throughout the night. We were basically alternating from living in the basement, being locked in the basement, and living in the basement throughout the night, to living in our rooms for the rest of the night and watching TVs and movie and cable. So the New Year comes, and Vinny throws us down the stairs in the basement and locks us in the basement after throwing us downstairs, me and AJ. And so yeah, it sucks. and we broke the door down, the basement door down, and Mom was having her salad while watching Vinny watching the Super Bowl after New Year's. This happened after New Year's, and Vinny got up and because Mom called Vinny, and then got up from the couch and threw us back down the stairs. And Mom said, "Just listen to Vinny from now on," and that's how we knew we were screwed, me and AJ. And Vinny just